So just a quick one on the Monday. There will be more coming, but this was the Every Lady, or the new Every Lady. Ah yes. We got a packing note. So this is a bit like block signalling, but this one's micro miniatures. I think they've got a website. I think years ago had something off them. This was a pre-owned points position indicator. So obviously you wire this in so that when you flick your switch, 2 LEDs illuminate to give you an indication of what position your points are set. It's a bit like the block signalling ones I got the other week. So anything like this that's normally a bit more money, I saved. I think this is about £39. I paid a tenner. So I've got two block signalling ones at the minute, and this one, and I think I might have some more block signalling ones, or mega points. I know I've got some of their servo actuators, control panels, because there's going to be a mix on my layout, because I've got loads of traditional solenoid point motors, but rather than keep buying them at sort of second hand £2-3, I've opted to go to servos. So I need obviously technology to control servos moving from one position to the other, plus there's some other sort of animated things. So some junctions or control panels will be old school solenoid point motors, the clunk clip things, and the others will be either Arduino or module boards. There are sort of various things on the market. I might go the self-build route for those. So like the mains, obviously it depends on the position, because how much room you've got underneath. The solenoid point motors on their mounts, I haven't got one here. I have 3D printed some, do sit a little bit lower, or the current design one I have. There are other options, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So I think this one is 10 or 8, I can't remember now. 8 red, 8 green LED, so it must be in 8 position. So it will cover 8. So there might be another. I don't think, is this the one? That might be the block signalling equivalent. So yeah, it depends on obviously what I design and how many turnouts there are on a given panel as to what I need, or whether the shortcoming is done via micro switches rather than a processing unit. But either way, it was 10 quid. It was cheap as chips for having an LED indicating panel. So how many mimic panels I'll need on the layout, I don't yet know. But there will probably, well, I've got at least 100 turnouts as an option, subject to obviously what the plan becomes. I've still yet to sort of come up with any hard and fast ideas as to layout, and attempting to get my head around any track planning software. I've got ideas on the different levels and storage areas, so the older stuff will probably go on the storage areas, where the old clunky solenoids won't really make any difference to functionality and operation and filming and such like. Anyway, waffly. Be back shortly. Well, more arrived in the mail than I was expecting. Got one big one, a couple of envelopes, and this one here, which I've already opened the delivery note, so I know what that is. I know what this one is because it's got the return address and the description of the item. So more electricity stuff. Picture there's nothing else in there. No. Block signalling again. This was direct from them. I've been watching a few of their items, and he sent me a private offer, £10. It's the traffic light controller. Now you can use this, I think, on various countries' systems. Obviously the British one is a little quirky because obviously we have the amber, red, amber, green, flashing amber. This actually does it. The ones I've previously got from Eve Model, I had to wire in another configuration to get them to work our way. And obviously they're just a little tiny cheap board with a set program on. This you can change around a little bit, I think. And obviously it's brand new, so not sure it will work on the Chinese lamp traffic lights I've got though, because the common cathode anode thing creeps its head up. But it's not a major issue, because obviously traffic lights are going to feature on more than one level, so if I have to buy some more sort of English appropriate traffic lights that will work with it, it's not an issue. So that was one item. Staying with the block signalling theme, so in here should be a pack of 4 Gauge Master frog juicers. They are the upgraded version they've done with the capacitors on them. Then there should be 3 block signalling frog juicers, which are basically an electronic one, so they work faster than the Gauge Master relay ones. And then there is a SDCC 1 model railway shuttle station stop ×2. So it's a DCC one, not a DC one, station shuttle. It's obviously been opened. Whether it's been used or not I don't know, but it still comes with packaging and instructions. I think they're about £40. And we've got a used one as well. I may not need both, but this is it's got a frog on that. No, that's not a frog one, is it? For a separate loop, maybe. Obviously having 2, I could do one on the US layout and one on the UK layout, or one on the steam period and one on the diesel DMU or something. I was planning on, if I can't convert one of my units, I think I can, it's just whether it's worth the aggravation, because I think I've got a DC variant of this, but either way, whatever don't get used will get passed back down the line and sold. So then we've got the frog juicers. I think these are about £20 a pop, I think. New. I got the 3 for £12.70. So again, they do the same thing, energise the frogs on the electrofrog points. I don't know whether they will serve as reverse loop relays as well. I think you can use these ones, or the other variation of these. These are very simplistic really. You can make these on a piece of Vero board, the basic versions of these. Again, I think these are now £25 for a pack of 3. We've got 4 of them here. They cost me £9.5p for 4. I haven't got anything like this at all for when I do get to the electrics and points. I was going to do some with micro switches that actuate the polarity change and signal information mechanically on a micro switch. because obviously they work, they're handy, but obviously when you've got a lot of points, I mean not all of them will need that intricacy, but it would start getting very expensive in a hobby that's already very expensive. But at least I can play around. I've got the option now, got the equipment if I need to buy more than I'll have to. But oh yeah, this is the Modellux Kettering building. I'm not a great fan of card, as you probably know, but this building and their other office building are not dissimilar to 70s buildings that were put up in my town, so that's the only reason I was sort of drawn to this. But I didn't want to pay £25 for it plus the shipping. I was watching it. He did send me an offer for £22, which I declined. And then every so often one of the Modellux companies, they operate under a number of accounts, some registered as businesses, some not, I don't think. But I won it at an auction. They put them up in auction sometimes, and I paid £8.50. They generally make about £15–18 on their auction, so I've normally got knocked out of the running. This time I obviously, with it being a quiet period and people off over the holiday period, I managed to bag one. So I might still go for the other building, the larger office block as well. But yeah, I quite like the look of it. I'm just not, obviously, I would have preferred it to have been done in laserboard and painted it myself, but obviously it is what it is. I will put matte varnish over it to help seal it, to reduce the amount of moisture absorption. Fortunately the building I'm going to be doing, if everything goes according to plan, will be fairly dry, so hopefully it won't be too much of an issue with the moisture expansion and such like. Which is why you won't see any Metcalfe buildings on my layout. And this, her boxes keep getting bigger. This is another one from Carol's Collectibles, the one I normally win her Norfolk and Southern stuff. But she hasn't got any Norfolk and Southern on there at the minute. This one is a Bachmann. Just bosh the camera. So this I paid about what I think is fair. Sometimes a lot of dealers are asking more as a buy it now or a high starting bid, and people still suck into it. Conversely, if they start them off low, more people get attracted to them and they end up going for more sometimes. But this is another pair of Bachmann Intermodal wagons. Seco, not quite sure what time period Seco is, but there are some of the little yellow bits that always end up being a shortfall on these. So they're looking quite nice nick. We've got a set of locking bars for the containers that have never been put on. And a little bit of glue, so it looks like no, we've got nothing on this one. And no detail pack, unfortunately. We've got a spare joining bar, but nothing else. And Bachmann in their infinite wisdom don't do any of those accessories as spares. So we need a full set of bars and the yellow mountings, which obviously you can use those ones. But we are short a 2 pairs of the locking bars. Not the end of the world. Can't remember how many I've got from Sea Rail, but sure I can always get some more. So other than that, they're looking pretty good fettle. Again, little to no use. The coupling, they can be a bit fickle. So yeah, all looks okay. They're pretty clean and tidy, other than the small detail parts being missing. Now I've got some 3D printed of them, and hopefully I can make the Sea Rail ones locking bars fit in, or at least one of the containers anyway. So I don't know what happened to the other detailing pack over the lifespan of it. So that's it. I'll fiddle around with a pair of tweezers and see if I can get these bars in on one bit. Catch you on the next one.